Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and today we unfortunately have to talk about Roe v. Wade because basically states that are planning on banning abortion or have trigger laws basically have a new issue to deal with on top of obviously the political fallout and the debate, etc., and that would be Black Hat hackers. Now, here's what's going on. And before I dive into this, I just want to say again, and I've said this a million times, cybersecurity is agnostic to politics, but we're not immune from it. And obviously, everybody has very strong opinions on the entire Roe v. Wade situation. But here's what's going on. This is the news. I am not about to get into a debate on pro-life, pro-choice, all that kind of stuff. This is one of the things that we have to face as cybersecurity professionals if we are living in one of these states, regardless of what we think. So here's what's going on. This is actually coming from Futurism. And I thought this was really interesting because a group of hackers has decided basically to take the US Supreme Court's sudden and obviously surprising, even though it was leaked, reversal of basically Roe v. Wade into their own hands. Now, this group is called SiegeSec, and they're not exactly white hat, let's put it that way. As Tech Monitor reported, what they focus on, their work focuses on usually just culling user data from private companies. Now, the Supreme Court decision has led basically them to declare that it's, quote, time for some hacktivism, end quote, in the form of stealing information from government bodies and other pro-life organizations. And to quote the group on Telegram, like many, we are also pro-choice. One shouldn't be denied access to abortion. As added pressure to the U.S. government, we have leaked many internal documents and files retrieved from Kentucky's and Arkansas's government server. Now, both Arkansas and Kentucky are in those states that have trigger laws or are moving to ban or restrict abortion, and so obviously they would be targeted by this group. Now, the group also claims to have already stolen about 8 gigabytes of data, which they say includes government workers' personal information. And according to the hackers, Kentucky and Arkansas is just the beginning. Quote, and in all caps, the attacks will continue, exclamation point. Now, to continue this, quote, our main targets are any pro-life entities, including government servers, of the states with anti-abortion laws. Now, SiegeSec is a new group that has recently popped up, as there have been a slew of these. According to Dark Owl, who tracks these kinds of things, the group, along with several other organizations, have basically emerged as a result of the entire Russian invasion of Ukraine. I've talked about that as well, my involvement. You can go watch my interviews with Ukraine's member of parliaments, etc. And the last thing that they said basically on Telegram regarding the situation is, and I quote them, keep protesting, keep yourself safe, F the government. Obviously, they said the full word. So I say all of this to say that this is something that we have to deal with, but I think it's also important to understand that when we are looking at the political spectrum, many government workers do not necessarily agree with the government on whatever their government does. They could be pro-life or pro-choice, and their government could be the opposite of what they believe, meaning their state or local government. Nevertheless, this is their job. They still have a duty to this. Look at police officers, right? Police officers have political opinions, but it is their job as law enforcement to, let's say, to protect protesters, even if they disagree with the protesters. You can go back to Skokie in that landmark case where the KKK was defended by the ACLU, basically over free speech to allow the KKK to march in Skokie, Illinois, which is very predominantly Jewish. So these are things that we have to understand, that as these groups are these hacktivist groups or these black hat groups that say, you know what, we're going to go and we're going to hit U.S. government infrastructure. If this group is all they're doing is leaking government employee information, they're not so much harming the government as they are harming the people that they are trying to hit. And again, I'm not adjudicating pro-life, pro-choice. I'm not even going to respond to those comments if you're like, oh my God, Nick, you're a jerk for blah, blah, blah. No, my whole point here is to understand the impact, or I should say relay, so you can understand the impact and the ramifications of these kinds of attacks. While we all have strong opinions, and let's say you're not a fan of Arkansas or Kentucky and their stances on abortion, going after their employees is just going after your fellow citizens. I mean, I think we all need to take a step back. We all need to basically chill. We all need to have honest discussions on this and what these long-term ramifications are of overturning 50 years of precedent. This is a huge, complex situation, and memes and bites really don't help anything else, not to mention hitting government workers like this. So that is your quick news of the day. hopefully they will cease and desist on that sense. And I think we should all, just like I said, take a step back, try to turn down the temperature, and actually have honest conversations about, what we can do, what the future is going to look like, and all of that. But I think that's the best course of action. Again, I'm not a fan of doing illegal things, in the name of social justice, whatever that means this week. So that obviously is a huge, huge thing. That's your news of the day. Please do not give me comments on pro-life or pro-choice. I am just trying to play it straight down the middle. Those are the facts. This is a group that's going after those states, and here we are. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP, and please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to stay private. Thanks, everyone.